reaches. In 1954, a Bombay economist named A.D. Shroff began a forum of free enterprise whose ideas on economic development were somewhat at odds with those then influentially articulated by the Planning Commission of the Government of India. Shroff complained against the indifference, if not discouragement, with which the state treated entrepreneurs. We believe that if the Government of India shed some of their practical ideologies and extend their active support to the private sector, very rapid industrialization can be brought about within the next 10 years. At the same time as Shroff, but independently of him, a journalist named Philip Spratt was writing a series of essays in favor of free enterprise. Spratt was a Cambridge communist who was sent by his party in the 1920s to foment revolution in the subcontinent. Detected in the act, he spent many years in an Indian jail. The book he read in prison and his marriage to an Indian woman afterward inspired a steady move rightwards. By the 1950s, he was editing a pro-American weekly from Bangalore called Mice India. There he inveighed against the economic policies of the Government of India. These, he said, treated the entrepreneur as a criminal who has dared to use his brains independently of the state to create wealth and give employment. State's chief planner P.C. Mahalanobis had surrounded himself with Western leftists and Soviet academicians who reinforced his belief in rigid control by the government over all activities. The result, said Spratt, would be the smothering of free enterprise, a famine of consumer goods, and the tying down of millions of workers to soul-deadening techniques. His own preference was for a plan that would create the psychological and economic conditions needed for a forward march by private enterprise. The voices of men like Spratt and Shroff are drowned in the chorus of popular support for a model of heavy industrialization funded and directed by the government. The 1950s were certainly not propitious times for free marketers in India. From time to time, their ideas were revived, and after the rupee was devalued in 1966, there were some moves towards freeing the trade regime and hopes that the licensing system would also be liberalized. However, after Indira Gandhi split the Congress party in 1969, her government took his left arm, rationalizing a fresh age of industries and returning to economic autarky. Then, in the late 1970s, the socialists in the Janata regime spectacularly affirmed India's economic independence by expelling foreign firms such as IBM and Coca-Cola. In the 1980s, Mrs. Gandhi's return to power. The next year, the head of the Tata group of companies gave a long interview to a leading newspaper. J.R.D. Tata said here that the performance of the Indian economy from the mid-50s to the mid-60s reflected the soundness of the mixed economy as an originally conceived. Industrial production grew at a handsome 8% a year. Then, in the late 1960s, the opportunity rose to open up the economy to competition. Had this been done